The driver who was to go and give directions to Her Excellency, the Venezuelan ambassador, lost his way, but she's on her way coming. And whilst we are waiting for her to come with a member of the ruling party in Venezuela, we would like to start today's program. Today's program is quite important. It's important because we're showing solidarity with people who are fighting for freedom and fighting for justice. Indeed, freedom and justice is the motto of our dear country, Ghana. And for us, it behoves on us to show solidarity with any people who want freedom, who want to live in truth, who want to have justice, who want to have self-determination and be able to rule themselves in peace, be able to use what nature has bestowed on them for the benefit of their own people and not for the benefit of somebody else. So it's quite important that the situation in Venezuela as today is told to everybody so that we can show solidarity. It is very important that the other side of the truth, because we're always being bombarded from the Western media with one side of what they call the truth. We want to see or know or hear the other side of the truth. And who better to hear than from the horse's own mouth? And that's why today we've organized this solidarity meeting to hear from the other side what is really happening in Venezuela. What is the situation in Venezuela? Why? I mean, what has gone wrong with the Bolivarian revolution, if anything has gone wrong? Why are they the target of the empire, that's the United States? Why are they falling out with friends or supposed friends or brothers from other Latin American and South American countries? Why the Europeans targeting them? What is really happening in Venezuela? And today we'll hear from the horse's own mouth. At this juncture, it is my pleasure to invite the convener of the Socialist Forum of Ghana to talk to you about us, so that you know for what reason we are organizing this solidarity campaign. Thank you very much.
Comrades, friends, once again, welcome to the Freedom Center. The Freedom Center is a program of the Socialist Forum of Ghana. It's a meeting space that we make available for all sorts of purposes. It's a place where we encourage interactions amongst people who are struggling, workers' organizations, students' organizations, whatever. People who have a cause that they want to advance and who do not have access to such facilities are always welcome here. We have a small reading room off to the side there, which also serves as a storage room in the evenings, small office, and next door is the office of the Insight newspaper, which is one of our principal organs for the intellectual struggle for advancing the cause of the people. We also own, just across the major road there, a bookshop called the Freedom Bookshop, which currently is the best place to get works of Kwame Nkrumah and other heroes of the Pan-African liberation struggle. We have other activities. We run a printing press, again to facilitate the struggles that we support. We are involved with the Pan-African TV, which is now, as I understand it, listened to or viewed in 22 African countries and has become, again, as I understand it, the most viewed TV station in the 3 northern regions of Ghana. Okay, we are entirely funded by the efforts of our members, contributions of members and supporters. And we organize all of these activities in addition to the main work of the Socialist Forum, purely with the purpose of advancing ideas about alternatives for developing our society based on the interests of the masses of the people, based on the efforts, energies, and militancy of our people. So it's a great pleasure for us to have all of you here today. I think Justice has mentioned the number of fraternal embassies that are here with us tonight. Okay, I can't read his handwriting, but I know our comrades from Cuba are here. If you can stand up. Okay, Cuba. Thank you very much. I can't read your handwriting. I know our comrades from Palestine are here.
Okay. Sorry that you can't read it. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of the following dignitaries. His Excellency, the Ambassador from Cuba, has already been noted. We also have His Excellency, the Ambassador from the Sahrawi Arab Republic, from the Republic of Palestine, from the Islamic Republic of Iran, from the Republic of Angola, from the Republic of South Africa, SA, and from the Russian Federation. Yeah, you're all welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Justice. Okay. I believe we also have here tonight a contingent of activists who are currently undergoing a program of training to develop their activism, and these are people drawn from Ghana, drawn from many of the countries in Africa, and I believe some from further away. You're all welcome here tonight. Okay. Sorry, my name is Chichi Opoku. I'm the convener of the Socialist Forum of Ghana. Okay. One of our main activities as a Socialist Forum, and that is centered around this place, the Freedom Center, is solidarity. It is not possible for any of our struggles to triumph and possibly even to survive unless we begin to build the networks. Without solidarity, there is no progress for any of us. So since we started this effort many years ago, we have hosted the solidarity campaigns with Cuba, with Palestine, with Iran, with the Sahrawi Republic, and several other struggles. Okay, this is at the core of what we do, helping to make sure that the Ghanaian public is educated about these struggles taking place, helping to make sure that the Ghanaian public is mobilized around these struggles, helping to make sure that the Ghanaian public understands just how integral these struggles are for our own struggles here as a people. Okay? So it is a great pleasure for us to have you all here tonight and to focus on the historic tragedy and hopefully the historic triumph that is evolving in Venezuela today as we speak. Okay? You can't turn on the news these days, you can't pick up a newspaper without headlines of Western propaganda indicating the complete collapse of the Maduro regime, suggesting that the majority of Venezuelans have turned against their government and are actually appealing for their historical enemy, the United States, to intervene, depose their government, and replace it with a pro-capitalist regime. Okay? So it is important that every opportunity we get to counter this propaganda and to explain the history of struggle, the history of the Southern and Northern American struggles, the relationships, the penetration of imperialism, the exploitation of Venezuela, and the particular issue of oil. There are not many people in Ghana who understand that Venezuela is actually the world's largest producer, and therefore the significance, its geopolitical significance in the US effort to control global resources and maintain its own hegemonic position within the capitalist world. Okay? So every opportunity we get to discuss these matters, to project these matters, and to mobilize people around them is important for us. Ghana as a country has faced a situation very similar to what Venezuela is going on today. The collapse of our first republic, led by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was occasioned by a united onslaught by the American CIA, British intelligence, German intelligence, which worked to create the same impression globally that there was massive unrest in Ghana, that the regime had become massively unpopular, okay, and to create the conditions for a military intervention to topple the first government we had that made an effort to reposition Ghana in terms of global imperialism and to create the opportunity for us to use our own natural resources, our own human physical resources to solve our own problems rather than just to create more profits for individual capitalists in the West. Okay? So bringing all of these things together is important. We are back in a situation today in this country where imperialism has become aggressive again. We've had situations as recently as 24 hours ago in which militias, armed militias, organized by the right-wing political party, which happens to be in government at the moment, are being used. They're testing the space they have to intimidate and push the people back with a view towards consolidating their grip over political power in Ghana. So there are lots of important linkages between what is happening today in Ghana, what is happening in Venezuela, and what is happening in so many other parts of the world. And our job as a socialist forum, as a freedom center, is to make sure that those linkages are understood, but more importantly, to make sure that people understand that those linkages and that entire front can be defeated, and that it is possible for the people to triumph. It is possible for the people to establish a society that is committed to social justice, that is committed to the advancement of the ordinary people and the improvement of their livelihoods, rather than just the accumulation of capital in the hands of a few people. Okay? So it's my very great pleasure once again to welcome all of you here. Given that our comrades from Venezuela have not yet arrived, we probably will have to restructure the program a bit and perhaps get into a bit of a discussion now about the issues that we are dealing with. I'm happy on behalf of my comrades here to moderate a bit of a discussion. It's a shame that she will not be here to hear it, but a report can be provided. So let's have a bit of a discussion. I'm particularly interested in hearing from the students. We have one of the programs that the Socialist Forum supports is what we call the Amilcar Cabral School. I'm sure everybody here knows who Amilcar Cabral was. He was a seminally important leader of Africa's liberation struggles, okay, and the founder of the PAIGC. So we have a school here which we've named after him to celebrate and acknowledge his achievements, and also to make the point about the Pan-African character of the struggle that we are engaged in. Okay. All right. So things, since the evening is fairly well spent, I would like now to open up a discussion. If there are statements that people would like to make, if there are questions that people would like to ask, I'm sure there are enough of us here who are informed sufficiently about the issues to help address that. So with your permission, I'd like to declare the floor open to discuss the situation in Venezuela today and to discuss how we can effectively provide solidarity for our comrades engaged in that struggle. Okay. So, unfortunately, I can't see anything. There's a light in my eye, so I can't actually see any faces or anything. But if there's anybody who would like to make a statement of any sort, you're more than welcome to do so. In fact, I might start picking out some people. I can see Comrade Yao Okoku in the wing. Ah, okay. My apologies. We overlooked. We did not acknowledge the presence of a representative of the people of Southern Cameroons. I understand there's a comrade here. Could you stand up? Okay. Respect. Okay. So I would actually like somebody come for your phone. Yes, I would also like now to introduce you the convener of our specific solidarity campaign, Solidarity with Venezuela, Comrade Yaopoku, who is sitting over there, and perhaps he would like to make a few remarks. Okay.
Good evening, comrades. In September 2009, Comrade Chavez organized a conference for all the heads of states in Africa and the heads of states in Latin America. At that conference, Comrade Chavez made an important statement that one of the ways by which Africans and developing world are being poor is the use of the IMF and the way they manipulate and affect the developing countries. So Chavez, at that conference, looked at Comrade Lula, the president of Brazil, and said that they should set up a bank or a fund on the same lines as IMF to provide funding for Africa and for developing countries. And at that conference, he stated there and then that the hotel where the conference was being held was the place they were going to use as the headquarters for the new fund for Africa and Latin America. A few months later, Comrade Chavez was dead. They killed him. And a few months later, Comrade Lula also had a problem. He was removed and now imprisoned. What instructs us, what should tell us, is that capitalism would kill and destroy any country that will seek to help developing countries to gain their independence. I am not surprised about what is happening in Venezuela, and I knew they will not succeed because in Venezuela, they have organized the people from the grassroots. I was privileged to go to about 10 of their regional capitals to see the programs that were being run by the people themselves. And therefore, I knew that no matter how Americans would try to organize and inflate and disorganize, they have. So I was clear that Chavez and the people of Venezuela had organized on the ground, so much so that it is not easy for any other country from outside to come and disturb or overthrow the government of Venezuela. For me, it was a learning instruction, particularly for developing countries in Africa who think that democracy means having a government at the top far away from the masses on the ground. At least for Venezuela, I learned it the hard way. I saw it myself. So for me, all the Western propaganda, the pictures that they are showing and all that, I am not faced because I know that the Venezuelans would win. But what I also want to stress is the fact that capitalism will kill our leaders. Any effort they get, they will kill they killed Maurice Bishop. They have killed Chavez. They killed Nkrumah. They killed America Cabral. They will kill anybody who they think that is an affront to their means of making their profits. What also is instructive is that if they cannot kill you, they will use money to organize people from your own country in order to use them against the government. They did it in Libya, using the whole people there to foment trouble in the name of democracy. They use the same tactics in Syria to attempt to foment trouble to overthrow the government of Syria. They use the same method in Iraq. They tried using the same method in Iran. Oh, all right, okay. Have you gotten?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
In Cuba,
Au Cuba,
they tried using the same method in fomenting trouble and using the Cubans to overthrow the Cuban government.
ils ont utilisé la même méthode en planifiant des choses pour essayer de renverser le gouvernement cubain.
But in Cuba,
Mais au Cuba,
they had organized the people so well
les gens sont tellement bien organisés que,
that, like Fidel said,
comme Fidel a dit,
unless you bomb the whole island of Cuba into the sea,
à moins que vous plongez toute l'île de Cuba dans l'eau,
there is no way
sinon il n'y a pas de moyen.
you can change
Vous puissiez changer
the system in Cuba.
le système au Cuba.
And therefore, for me,
Cependant, pour moi,
using the military option
utiliser l'option militaire
as one of the capitalist instruments
est l'un des instruments du capitalisme
for committing regime change.
pour commettre des
Change of
absurdités
government.
au gouvernement.
So my point, comrades, is
Donc,
that
Son point est que
whilst we are thinking about what is happening in Venezuela,
pendant que nous sommes en train de penser à ce qui se passe au Venezuela,
it should also be a lesson to us
il devrait être une leçon pour nous
that the greatest defense of the people,
que la plus grande défense des gens,
the greatest defense of any government,
que la plus grande défense de n'importe quel gouvernement
is the mass of the people.
est la masse populaire.
And the people can defend
Et les gens peuvent se défendre
if they understand
s'ils comprennent
and know
et savent
why they must defend their democracy.
pourquoi ils doivent défendre leur démocratie.
As for the Western countries,
Concernant les pays de l'Occident,
where they can make money
là où ils peuvent faire de l'argent,
and they are like vultures,
ils deviennent comme des vautours.
when they see carcass,
Lorsqu'ils voient des caracas,
they will come and home there.
ils viendront tourner autour.
Ghana has found oil.
Le Ghana a trouvé du pétrole.
There is no wonder
Il n'y a pas d'inquiétude, ni de doute.
why America will come and establish a military base in Ghana.
Pourquoi les Américains viendront installer une base militaire au Ghana?
It is not for nothing.
Ce n'est pour ne rien.
Niger has uranium.
Le Niger a l'uranium.
It is not for nothing
Ce n'est pas pour rien
that Americans are all over the place there.
que les Américains sont partout là-bas.
Now for France,
Maintenant pour la France,
3 days ago,
il y a de cela 3 jours.
among themselves,
Pour le Venezuela,
we are fully behind them.
nous sommes totalement derrière eux.
We are fully behind Venezuela.
Nous sommes totalement derrière le Venezuela.
And we know,
Et nous savons,
no matter how much tricks,
quels que soient les pièges,
no matter how publicity they give,
quelle que soit la publicité ils font,
once the military in Venezuela support Maduro,
une fois que les militaires supportent Maduro au Venezuela,
it will not be easy
ça ne serait pas facile
for them to overthrow.
pour eux de le renverser.
And if Americans land in Venezuela,
Et si les Américains atterrissent au Venezuela,
I know for sure
je suis sûr,
it will not be easy for them.
ça ne serait pas facile pour eux.
They cannot take Venezuela like you take a piece of paper on the ground.
Ils ne peuvent pas prendre le Venezuela comme s'ils prenaient un morceau de papier à terre.
They cannot seize the oil
Ils ne peuvent pas,
of Venezuela
prendre le pétrole du Venezuela
like they did in Iran,
comme ils l'ont fait en Iran,
or they did in Iraq,
ou ils l'ont fait en Irak,
or they are trying to do in Syria.
ou ce qu'ils sont en train d'essayer de faire en Syrie.
Venezuela is a country that is well organized by Chavez.
Le Venezuela est un pays qui est bien organisé par Chavez.
And therefore, for all of you who have met here,
Cependant, vous tous qui êtes là,
I want you,
je voudrais que,
if it is possible,
si c'est possible,
let's stand just for a minute
on va se tenir debout pour une
to
minute
show our solidarity
pour montrer notre solidarité
with Venezuela.
au Venezuela.
Victory for Venezuela.
Victoire pour le Venezuela.
Victory for Maduro.
Victoire pour Maduro.
Victory for the people and government of Venezuela. Victory.
Victoire.
Together here with us are students from our political school called Amilcar Cabral Political School.
Ici, nous avons avec nous les étudiants de notre école appelée Amical Cabral.
And they are from various countries. I understand they are from about 17 countries from Africa, Latin America,
Ils
and,
viennent,
Asia.
Ils viennent de 17 pays à travers le monde, l'Afrique, l'Amérique latine et l'Asie.
They are undergoing a course, a 3-week boot camp course in political education.
Ils sont actuellement en train de suivre des formations en éducation politique.
And this is one of the activities of the Socialist Forum of Ghana.
C'est l'une des activités du Forum socialiste du Ghana.
It is indeed my pleasure now to welcome, first I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Honorable Professor Mpofo.
Nous avons le président du Congrès national qui est là parmi nous.
And I'd like to also welcome Her Excellency, the Venezuelan ambassador to Ghana.
Nous avons aussi son Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur du Venezuela au Ghana. Oh, Madame l'ambassadrice du Venezuela au Ghana.
She's being accompanied by a member of the ruling political party, the PSUV, I believe, of Venezuela, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, called Senor Tomas. And
Elle est accompagnée des membres du gouvernement au Venezuela.
We had to start because there was a mishap. Nevertheless, we've opened the meeting and we're waiting for you to come and join us. We've been listening to some of our members, those who have been to Venezuela, sharing their experiences with us of the Bolivarian Revolution. As we are now here, I'd like to call on Senor Tomas to come to the podium and tell us what is happening in Venezuela.
Donc, notre camarade va venir nous expliquer la situation qui prévaut actuellement au Venezuela.
El traductor, usted nos ayuda con, usted nos puede ayudar con el idioma. Okay, let's try to do it in English.
Okay, il va se débrouiller en anglais.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
When I see you now, I see my people.
Quand je vous vois maintenant, je vois mon peuple.
I'm in my country. I feel very proud of you. The battle will always go on. The battle is ours. The victory is ours.
La victoire est à nous.
Chavez is alive here. Bolívar is alive here.
Bolivie est vivante ici.
We, in our country,
Dans notre pays,
are guided by God. Our guide is God. We have God in our side. We have now, in this moment,
nous avons maintenant ce moment
a situation in our country
une situation dans notre pays
that has been provoked
qui a été provoquée
by the imperialism.
par les impérialistes.
It's no new. It's no new for us.
Ce n'est pas quelque chose de nouveau pour nous.
We have been fighting
Nous avons toujours combattu
since Bolivar
depuis la Bolivie
against the imperialism.
contre l'impérialisme.
Bolivar said once,
La Bolivie a une fois dit,
the people from the north
les gens du Nord
are against us.
sont contre nous.
that government in the north
Ce gouvernement au nord
is against our people.
est contre notre peuple.
So we have to fight.
Donc nous devrions nous battre.
That was in the time of Bolivar,
Pendant le temps de Bolivar,
then with Chavez,
de Hugo Chavez,
our commander.
notre commandant.
Chavez was inspired
Chavez était inspiré
on Bolivar
par Bolivar,
in our battle for justice and freedom.
se battant pour la justice et la paix.
And now we are in the Freedom Center.
Maintenant, nous sommes au centre de la liberté.
So we are with Bolivar.
Donc nous sommes avec Bolivar.
We are with Chavez.
Nous sommes avec Chavez.
And we are with Maduro.
Et nous sommes avec Maduro.
Maduro is not alone.
Maduro n'est pas seul.
Maduro is not alone.
Il n'est pas seul.
When I stand up here
Lorsque je me tiens debout ici,
as just a party member
en tant qu'un membre du parti,
and I see your faces,
et je vois vos visages,
it's as seeing my own people
c'est comme si je vois mon vrai peuple
with the same courage.
avec le même courage.
But now let's talk about what's happening
Maintenant, je vais parler de ce qui se passe.
exactly now.
Exactement maintenant.
There is a clear intention.
Il y a une intention claire.
First of all,
Premièrement,
a clear intention from the U.S. government
une intention claire du gouvernement des États-Unis
to push
de pousser
our government
notre gouvernement
and our revolution
et notre révolution
to be defeated.
pour être battu.
But there's no way.
Mais il n'y a pas de moyen.
That's the first I want to say.
C'est ce que je veux dire en premier lieu.
And why there is no way?
Pourquoi il n'y a pas de moyen?
Why not?
Pourquoi pas?
Maybe you can think. You may think.
Vous
Why
pouvez
not?
penser ou vous aurez à penser pourquoi pas.
Because we have three forces.
Parce que nous avons des forces.
Spiritual force,
La force spirituelle,
history force,
la force historique
and the people force.
et la force de la masse.
In this moment,
En ce moment,
the UN
l'UM
has recognized what everybody knows.
a reconnu, comme tout le monde le sait,
There is one only president of the Venezuela,
il y a un seul président du Venezuela.
and it's Nicolás Maduro Moros.
Son nom est Nicolás Maduro.
Que viva Bolívar, que viva Bolívar, que viva Chávez, que viva Nicolás Maduro. For me, is some kind of not difficult to speak English, but for me, it's not very comfortable to talk in English about my revolution.
Pour
I
lui,
prefer to talk in Spanish and all tongues, but no English about my revolution.
il ne veut pas utiliser l'anglais pour parler de sa révolution, mais plutôt il va utiliser l'espagnol pour parler de sa révolution.
So, that's the first I want to say.
Ça, c'est ce qu'il veut dire en premier.
Second,
En deuxième lieu,
now the people from the opposition in Venezuela
les gens de l'opposition au Venezuela
is giving some media information
ils les ont fourni des informations médiatiques
presenting this this person called Guaido,
montrant la personne de Maduro,
this opposite guy
son opposé,
is being presented
est actuellement présenté
as similar than Chavez.
comme quelque chose qui est une personne similaire à Chavez.
And that's not possible.
Et ça, ce n'est pas possible.
They are starting commenting
ils ont commencé à faire des commentaires
He's very humble.
très horribles.
He's young. He's young. He's a young person. Young.
Ok.
As you.
Il est jeune.
So, they have nothing to say.
Ils n'ont rien à dire.
Now they are getting every day getting worse and worse and worse.
Là, tous les jours, ils sont en train de partir au pire.
They are becoming alone. The opposition is becoming alone, and alone.
L'opposition est en train d'être abandonnée. Donc ils sont
Nobody
pas-
believes them.
Personne ne les soulève, ne les supporte.
Nobody can explain.
Personne ne peut l'expliquer.
How do you explain
Comment pouvez-vous expliquer
that you are becoming a president
que Jock devenant président
in the middle of the street?
au milieu de la rue?
I'm the president.
Je suis le président.
It's like I come here to Ghana
C'est comme quand je viens au Ghana
and me myself say in the middle of the street, I'm Ghana's president.
et je viens m'arrêter dans la rue pour dire que je suis le président du Ghana.
No, my friends, it's not a joke.
Les amis, ce n'est pas un amusement.
It is very dangerous
C'est très dangereux
to all our countries.
pour chacun de nos pays.
Why is very dangerous?
Pourquoi c'est très dangereux?
Where's the people?
Où sont les gens?
Where's democracy?
Où se trouve la démocratie?
Where are the governments of our people?
Où sont les gouvernements des gens?
Where is the UN?
Où se trouvent les Nations Unies?
What for do we exist?
Pourquoi ils ne sont pas là? Parce que nous existons.
It is a crime,
C'est un crime.
but it's not a simple crime.
Ce n'est pas un crime simple.
It's one of the strongest crimes of the corporations.
C'est l'un des plus grands crimes de l'organisation.
There's nothing more dangerous than this.
Il n'y a pas plus dangereux que ceci.
Anybody
Toute personne
declares
déclarant
that he has the power
qu'il a le pouvoir
to change the laws of a country.
de changer les lois de notre pays.
What is it?
Cela, c'est quoi?
It's a terrorist
C'est un terroriste.
in any part of the world.
Partout à travers le monde.
Just stand up in front of the White House,
Juste se lever devant la maison
in any street of the United States,
dans une rue des États-Unis
and you say,
et vous dites,
you are the president,
vous êtes le président
and you call 100 people.
et vous appelez une centaine de personnes.
What will Trump do to you? What is going Trump
Qu'est-ce
to do to you?
qu'est-ce qui va se faire avec toi?
First of all, jail.
Premièrement, tu seras emprisonné.
Second of all, for the rest of the people that was with you, jail.
Les gens qui t'ont accompagné seront aussi emprisonnés.
And the big question, there is a big question,
Ça, c'est l'équation.
and human rights? What about the human rights?
Et à propos des droits de l'homme,
What about the Venezuelan people human rights?
et à propos du droit des hommes du Venezuela.
Now I'm going straight to the third point.
Maintenant, je vais directement au troisième point.
We have many parties, political parties in Venezuela.
Nous avons beaucoup de partis politiques au Venezuela.
Many of them.
Beaucoup.
And last year,
Et l'année dernière,
2018,
en 2018,
we went to an election, presidential election.
nous avons eu une élection présidentielle.
Everybody was invited to participate.
Tout le monde était dans les urnes de vote pour participer.
Then what happened?
Et qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
They participated.
Ils ont participé,
They had 3 different candidates.
ils avaient 3 différents candidats.
We had one,
On n'avait qu'un candidat,
the candidate of the revolution.
le candidat de la révolution.
There's only one revolution in Venezuela,
Il n'y a qu'une seule révolution,
the Bolivarian Revolution.
la révolution bolivarienne.
Our candidate
Notre candidat
was suffering a battle,
souffrait,
au-delà
il souffrait au-delà.
during 3 years. Aggressions and aggressions from the United States Empire.
Il souffrait parmi ces 3 autres leaders avec des agressions des États-Unis.
And we didn't stop.
Mais ça ne lui a pas
We
arrêté.
made the elections.
Nous avons fait les élections. et gagné.
Why we made the elections last year?
Lorsque nous avons fait les élections l'année
It's
passée,
important to know. It is important to know.
il est important de savoir.
The elections has to be made this year.
Les élections doivent avoir une signification ici.
But the opposition
Mais l'opposition
requested,
a riposté.
I want elections now.
Nous voulons les élections maintenant.
Now.
Maintenant.
Every day says now.
Tous les jours, c'est
Elections now.
maintenant.
Well, here are the elections.
Les élections ont été organisées.
We went to elections.
Ils sont partis aux élections.
And they say, no, 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 no.
Et ils ont dit non,
No, please, no now.
pas maintenant.
Then when? We asked them, when?
Et ils les ont demandé maintenant quand.
They say,
Ils ont dit,
I don't know.
nous ne savons pas.
Who knows? We ask it again.
Nous demandons alors qui connaît.
Okay, let's do it. They said.
Ils disent alors faisons les élections.
What did we do?
Que pouvons-nous faire?
We did elections.
Nous avons fait les élections
And we won.
et nous avons gagné.
And the people of Venezuela won the elections.
Les gens du Venezuela ont gagné les
And we re-elected the president Nicolas Maduro Moros.
et ils ont élu le président Nicolas Maduro.
And now, this moment,
En ce moment,
we are in our first 20 years of revolution in Venezuela.
nous sommes dans notre première
We are not coming back, comrades.
Nous n'allons pas retourner en arrière.
Be sure we're not coming back.
Nous n'allons pas retourner
We're
en
not
arrière.
getting back.
Nous n'allons pas revenir en arrière.
We're coming for more.
Nous allons partir devant.
Tomorrow
Demain
is going to be
serait
the 20th anniversary of the Bolivarian Revolution.
Demain serait le 20e anniversaire de la révolution bolivarienne.
And what we're going to do,
Et ce que nous allons faire,
we're going to march. We're going to a march. We're going to mobilize,
nous allons
to
faire
move
une
our people.
marche, une démonstration.
Why do we do that?
Pourquoi allons-nous faire cela?
We always do it.
Nous le faisons toujours.
It's not special.
Ce n'est pas quelque chose de spécial.
Why?
Pourquoi?
Because we are joyful.
Parce que nous sommes
We are
contents.
peace people,
Nous sommes des gens de la paix.
worker people.
Nous sommes de la classe ouvrière.
We love our people.
Nous aimons notre peuple.
We march because of the love of our people.
Nous marchons à cause de l'amour de notre peuple.
That's the real.
Ça, c'est la réalité.
So, we
No.
did the election last year,
Nous avons fait les élections l'année passée.
and the president Nicolas Maduro was re-elected
Le président Nicolas Maduro était élu
for more than 60%.
plus que il a été élu à plus de 60%.
Most of the people vote him.
La plupart des gens ont voté
Most
pour
of
lui.
the people.
La majorité.
Why?
Pourquoi?
There's nothing else.
Il n'y a rien d'autre.
The rest of the people of the opposition
Le reste des gens de l'opposition,
is violence.
c'est la violence.
It's nothing.
Ce n'est rien d'autre
Got no plan.
qu'ils ont comme plan.
They abandon
Ils ont abandonné
their own people.
leur propre peuple.
They use
Ils utilisent
their own people.
leur propre peuple.
So the people is
Donc,
tired of them.
les gens en ont marre d'eux.
So we won last year,
Nous voulons ici,
and this January 10th, this last January 10th,
ok. En ce 10 janvier,
this January,
ok. En ce 10 janvier,
our president
notre président
has to be
doit être
in his formal event,
dans sa
in his
position,
formal act, to be proclaim
dans sa position initiale pour être proclamé
of a new government,
au nouveau gouvernement,
a new period
une nouvelle période
of the Bolivian Revolution.
de la révolution bolivienne.
And the opposition said,
Et l'opposition a dit,
it is not true.
ce n'est pas vrai,
There is no president.
il n'y a pas de président.
No president.
Pas de président,
No election.
pas d'élection.
Maduro doesn't exist.
Maduro n'existe pas.
It looks like a joke,
Ça ressemble à un amusement,
but there is no joke in this.
mais il n'y a pas d'amusement en cela.
There is no joke in anything of what I'm saying, my dear comrades.
Il n'y a pas d'amusement dans tout ce que je suis en train de dire, les camarades.
Why?
Pourquoi?
Because any opportunity you give to the empire, any opportunity you give to the empire,
Il n'y a pas d'opportunité à donner aux empires.
they take it
Ils le prennent
and they kill
et ils tuent.
and they are thieves
Ils sont des voleurs.
and they take all the resources from the people.
Ils prennent toutes les ressources des gens.
So, what did we do?
Qu'est-ce que nous avions fait?
We went to our event
Nous sommes partis à notre événement
and our president was proclaimed
comme notre président était proclamé,
under oath
a juré
to our constitution
sur notre constitution
that he is the president.
qu'il est le président.
And then what happened?
Et c'est ce qui s'est passé.
All the media
Tous les médias
of the world
du monde
show
ont montré
a person nobody knew.
une personne que personne ne connaît.
Nobody knew that deputy.
Personne ne connaît cette personne.
When the people started to watch and listen the media,
Lorsque les gens ont commencé à regarder et écouter les médias,
3 weeks ago,
il y a de cela quelques semaines,
they said, oh,
ils ont dit, oh,
there is a person, which is the name, they see the name, oh, the name is Guaido.
il y a une personne et le nom est Walipo.
And who is he?
Qui est-il?
Oh, he's president.
Il est le président.
Why?
Pourquoi?
Oh, because he says so.
Juste parce qu'ils ont dit ainsi.
Oh, a problem.
Un problème.
For whom? For the United States, it's a problem.
Et les États-Unis sont le problème.
15 minutes later,
15 minutes après,
Mr. Trump,
Trump,
the biggest criminal that there is in the United States,
le plus grand criminel.
is the biggest criminal.
Il est le plus grand criminel.
The world has a big criminal, and that criminal is Mr. Donald Trump.
C'est un grand criminel au monde.
So, 15 minutes later,
15 minutes après,
Mr. Donald Trump,
M. Donald Trump,
in his Twitter account,
avec son compte Twitter,
sent a tweet.
a envoyé un tweet.
Oh, I recognize
Je reconnais
the president of the Venezuela.
le président du Venezuela.
And the name is,
Et le nom est,
and he had to write another tweet.
il a eu à écrire un autre tweet,
Maybe he didn't know the name.
comme s'il ne connaissait pas le nom.
And he wrote another tweet.
Il a écrit un autre tweet.
And the president is
Et le président est
Mr. Juan Guaido.
Monsieur Wanwalo.
And everybody said,
Et tout le monde
seriously?
s'est dit,
In Venezuela,
au Venezuela,
we said, seriously? Seriously,
Sérieusement,
you, President of the United States,
toi, président des États-Unis,
are you crazy?
est-ce que tu es fou?
In Venezuela,
Au Venezuela,
when somebody is elected
quand quelqu'un est élu
as President of the Republic,
comme président de la République,
first of all,
premièrement,
you must have a party,
vous devrez avoir un parti.
and your party has to enroll you as candidate.
Et ce parti vous a investi en tant que candidat.
And when you win,
Et lorsque vous gagnez,
the electoral council,
eh, la commission électorale
says you are the winner
dit que vous êtes le vainqueur
and gives away a bulletin.
et donne maintenant les votes.
And we must have international missions to watch out the process.
Donc la mission internationale doit avoir
But-
cette procédure,
United States
mais les États-Unis
fabricated
ont fabriqué
a Muppet,
une marionnette.
and that Muppet
Et cette marionnette
has a name.
a un nom
Almost nobody remember it.
dont pratiquement tout le monde se rappelle.
Why?
Pourquoi?
Because it doesn't exist.
Parce que ça n'existe pas.
Has never worked for the people.
Ça n'a jamais marché avec les gens.
That young man
Cet homme
was in the protest in Venezuela in 2004.
il était dans la protestation au Venezuela en 2004.
And that young man
Et cet homme
made shed bags. Shed. Doodle bags. Doodle. Shed. You know shed?
yes.
Shed bags.
Ok, il a fait des sacs de bombes.
He used to make shed bags and throw it to the cops.
Ok, il a fait des sachets et les jeter aux gens.
Vous compris? And he used to do something too, different.
Il avait l'habitude de faire quelque chose de différent aussi.
He used it to get naked in front of the people
Il avait l'habitude aussi de se mettre nu devant les gens
and to put his ass in the air.
et mettre ses fesses en l'air.
He used it to do it.
Il avait l'habitude de le faire.
Is that a president?
Est-ce
Is that a political?
que celui-ci est un président?
A political is always looking for the well-being of the people.
Un chef est toujours à la recherche du bien-être des gens.
So, I have talked to you about everything of this.
Je vous ai dit pratiquement à propos de tout.
And now,
Et maintenant,
how are we in Venezuela
comment sommes-nous au Venezuela
today?
aujourd'hui?
Now in Venezuela is about 3:13 p.m.
Maintenant, au Venezuela, il est 15h13.
3:13 p.m. of a Friday.
15h13.
What are we doing now there?
Qu'est-ce qui est en train de se passer là-bas actuellement?
Working. We are
Travailler.
working.
Nous sommes en train de travailler.
And we are not complaining.
Et nous ne sommes pas en train de nous plaindre.
Our fight is not against our own people.
Notre lutte n'est pas contre notre propre peuple.
We have history.
Nous avons une histoire.
It's not the first time
Ce n'est pas la première fois
the empire wants us to kill between each other.
que les gens aient à se tuer entre eux.
But you know what?
Et vous savez,
Today,
aujourd'hui,
at this hour,
à 7 heures,
the Venezuelans are free.
les Vénézuéliens,
We are free.
les Vénézuéliens sont libres.
We are not the slave of anybody.
Nous ne sommes les esclaves de personne.
We are not the slave of an empire.
Nous ne sommes pas les esclaves d'un empire.
Our young people,
Nos jeunes gens, notre jeunesse,
our young women,
nos jeunes femmes,
our young men,
nos jeunes hommes,
our old people,
nos personnes âgées,
boys, kids, everybody
les enfants, tout le monde
are free
sont libres.
and are happy.
C'est ce qui se passe.
And we keep fighting.
Et nous continuons à nous battre.
So,
Donc,
Ali Primera said a long time ago.
Ali Ier a dit, il y a de cela très longtemps,
Ali Primera is a popular singer of ours. Ali Primera is in our heart.
Ali Ier est dans leur cœur.
Ali Primera used to fight the imperialism,
Il avait l'habitude de combattre l'impérialisme.
and he was a good singer,
Et c'était un bon
a
chanteur.
popular singer.
Un chanteur
He was in Russia.
qui était en Russie.
He was in the whole Caribbean.
Il était
He was in Africa.
en Afrique.
He was the whole world entire,
Il était dans le monde entier.
giving music and joy to the people.
Donner la musique pour épanouir les gens.
And he said,
Et il a dit,
go, go, go.
allez, allez, allez.
Even if the march is slow,
Même si la marche est lente.
go, go, go.
Allez, allez, allez.
Even if the battle is long,
Même si la bataille est longue,
it will always be a battle.
ça sera toujours une bataille.
And remember that you are young
Et rappelez-vous que vous êtes jeune
in your head
dans la tête
and in your heart.
et dans le cœur.
So we know
Nous savons,
that it won't stop.
ça ne s'arrêtera pas.
It is not because now I'm going to talk about why this war.
Je vais maintenant parler de
So
notre
this way
monde dans ce monde.
I close this speech.
Avec ce mot, je vais fermer ou clôturer cette intervention.
Why is this war against our country?
Pourquoi ce monde est contre notre pays?
First of all,
Premièrement,
oil.
le pétrole.
Easy. It's very easy, my dear comrades.
C'est très sérieux.
It is nothing secret.
Il n'y a rien de secret.
It is not secret for any country in the world.
Ce n'est du secret pour aucun pays dans
Everybody
le
knows
monde.
in the world, every country, every person in the world
Toute personne, tous les pays le savent dans le monde.
knows that this war is for the petroleum.
Que cette guerre est à cause du pétrole.
Ali Primera said too,
Ali Ier a aussi dit,
and with this I close.
et avec ça, je vais terminer.
Brother Colombian,
Les frères colombiens,
brother South American,
les frères d'Amérique du Sud,
brother Caribbean,
les frères carabiens,
brother and sisters,
les frères et sœurs,
don't let them
ne les laissez pas
separate us
nous séparer
because of the petroleum.
à cause du pétrole.
They want our petroleum.
Ils veulent notre pétrole.
Don't let that separate us.
Il ne faut pas les laisser nous séparer.
Nobody will separate Venezuela from the rest of the country of the world.
Personne ne va séparer le Venezuela du reste du monde.
Ghana is Venezuela. Venezuela is Ghana.
Le Ghana est le Venezuela et le Venezuela
Africa
est le Ghana.
is America. America is Africa. We are one only people.
Et l'Amérique et l'Afrique, nous sommes un seul peuple.
Viva Venezuela, viva! Viva! Viva Africa, viva!
Viva!
Viva Maduro, viva!
Viva!
Abash capitalism! Abash capitalism! Abash capitalism! Abash Donald Trump!
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Comrade Thomas. Let's give him another round of
Merci
applause.
beaucoup. Veuillez l'applaudir encore une fois de plus.
I'm sure what we came for, we've been partially satisfied by hearing the other side.
Je pense que la chose pour laquelle nous sommes venus est partiellement satisfaite.
We would ask ourselves, oh, but we are little, what can we do?
Et on se demande, même si nous sommes peu, mais que pouvons-nous faire?
Apart from having solidarity meetings, what else can we do?
Et le fait d'avoir, au-delà d'avoir cette réunion de solidarité, qu'est-ce que nous pouvons faire d'autre?
There's this little machine
Nous avons ce petit appareil
which has got social media on it.
qui a les réseaux sociaux dessus.
And we are all on social media.
Et nous sommes tous sur les réseaux sociaux.
That is what we use to fight the other side.
C'est ce que nous pouvons utiliser pour combattre l'autre côté.
That's what we use to spread the alternative.
Ça, c'est ce que nous pouvons utiliser pour montrer qu'il y a une autre alternative.
That's what we use to engage in the information war.
C'est ce que nous pouvons utiliser pour être engagés dans le monde de l'information.
The most important thing
La plus importante
is for us to understand
est pour nous de comprendre
that there's an alternative
qu'il y a une alternative
to the neoliberalism,
au néolibéralisme,
austerity,
à l'austérité,
neocolonialism,
le néocolonialisme,
violence,
la violence
and militarism.
et le
We are for
militarisme.
peace.
Nous sommes pour la paix.
And indeed, it's Viva Venezuela.
Et pour cela, vive le Venezuela.
Thank you very much for coming.
Merci beaucoup d'être venu.
And bye bye.
Au revoir.